Okay. So that's the word, but it's pronounced hametz. And so hametz is, if we look at the metaphysical meaning, the practice of letting go, the practice of releasing. And matzah, right? Matzah is the unleavened bread, right? So that could be the practice of letting in, yes? The practice of rising, the practice of rising. So Ernest Holmes says this: letting go, let is a big word and an important one. But I see I'm skipping ahead, so let me slow down. Let me slow down a little bit and go back to hametz. So hametz and matzah are almost the same substance. They contain the same ingredients of flour and water. The one key difference is that hametz bread rises and matzah stays flat. So we can think of hametz as symbolizing the swelling of our ego that we can get in the way of our relationship with a higher source. And matzah symbolizes humility and our commitment to God, also self-effacement. So here we are. So we can consider hametz as the practice of letting go or releasing, and matzah as letting in, rising. So the practice of letting go allows us to make space for the letting in. Those qualities that we talked about that first Sunday about vulnerability, and how vulnerability is the birthplace of joy and creativity and belonging and authenticity, innovation, connection, courage, empathy, change, and love, that we can give rise to those qualities like leaven gives rise to bread. So there's power here. There's power in the letting go. There's power in letting go because we need the space for that which is seeking to come through us. And so in the Science of Mind text, Ernest Holmes says, L-E-T is a big word and an important one. So I ask you, what are you allowing to let go? And what are you permitting to let into your life? What thoughts are you allowing? What thoughts are you permitting to let into your consciousness? What are your let thoughts? What are your let feelings? What are your let actions? The word let means to allow and to permit, right? And anything that we are allowing and permitting, we need to do so from a consciousness that is clear, constructive, and consistent. The 3 C's: clear, consistent, constructive. We don't mix the don't let and the let together, right? The Israelites had to make sure that they did not mix any leavening ingredients in their food that would cause the bread to rise. They were meticulous about this. They spent days before, in some cases, weeks before Passover, making sure there were no leavening agents in the house. And so that's how meticulous we need to be about what it is that we let in to our consciousness. Is it clear? Is it constructive? And is it consistent? Are you letting this great power that I call God operate through you? So last Sunday, Rabbi Susan asked that question. She asked, what are you ready to let go of? And I just want to put up what some of your responses were. Do you all remember her asking y'all that question? Oh, I realize I can't see y'all. So you might recognize your response here when I keep calling her Reverend, when Rabbi Susan asked the question, what are you willing to let go? judging others, disappointment, feeling of insufficiency, fear of failure, anxiety, fear of technology, unwillingness to surrender when it is necessary, fight or flight reactions were some of the things that people were willing to let go of. So the Passover story is the journey of freedom and liberation, the journey of letting go of bondage and letting in freedom. So are you willing to let in freedom and liberation by letting go of these things that are listed here on the screen? And if you don't see yours represented here, are you willing to let go of whatever that is for you? Ernest Holmes says this in the chapter, Other Teachings from the New Testament in the Science of Mind text. This section is titled, How to Demonstrate Liberty. Ernest writes, to demonstrate liberty, drop all negative thoughts from your mind. Do not dwell upon adversity, but think plenty into everything, for there is power in the word. Meditate on the things you are doing. Meditate on the things you are doing as already done, complete and perfect. Try to sense the infinite life around you and within you. This life is already fully expressed and complete. This life is your life now and the life of all that you do, say, and think. Meditate upon life until your whole being flows into it and becomes one with it. Becomes one with it. Demonstrate liberty. So what are you willing to let go of? What are the things that are prohibiting, that you are prohibiting from your mind? Like the Israelites prohibited the leavening of food, the food that rises. So what are you willing to let go of? What thoughts are you letting rise up within you? Any thoughts that expand you, or are they thoughts that flatten you? Are they thoughts that expand you or thoughts that flatten you? And I know we know when we're in that space of experiencing flattening thoughts, that chatter that just goes on and on, telling us what we are not and what we cannot do. Yes? So we prohibit the rising of negative thoughts. We prohibit the rising of adversity towards ourselves and others. We do not allow negativity to rise. We don't allow negativity to rise. We allow infinite life to arise within us. So we resurrect ourselves by raising our consciousness. God is our leaven on this journey. That is our heaven on earth. This life, this one right here, y'all, this life right here is God's life. This life right here is seeking to rise in you. Will you allow it to rise, or will you flatten it like matzah? Ernest Holmes says, we know that the law of life is a law of thought, an activity of consciousness. The power flows through us. The spirit can only do for us, and everybody can repeat what I'm about to say next, right? The spirit can only do for us what the spirit can do through us. Yes, it can only do for us what it can do through us. The question is, will you allow it? Will you let it? Will you permit it? Are you willing to be vulnerable to the will of God, to the law of life? Are you willing to let go of the things that give rise to separation from our true nature and the true nature of others? There's a popular song, a popular saying, it might be a song too. Oh, Rabbi Susan's in the waiting room, if someone could let her in. There's a popular saying, let go and let God, right? Everyone's familiar with that. Let me see some hands. Everyone's familiar with let go and let God. It's really easy to say, right? And sometimes it's not so easy to do. But there's power in letting go. Letting go makes space for what you want to let in. Think about our breath. What if we never let go of the inhale? We just inhale. We just kept inhaling and never let go through the exhale. We would be in trouble, y'all. We would be in trouble. So it's the same thing. What are you willing to let go in order to let in? So in the Bible, leaven is almost always symbolic of sin, right? And there's a verse in the Bible, James 5:16, that says this: confess your faults one to another and pray for another that you may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man is powerful. And in that same chapter that I referenced earlier in the Science of Mind text, Other Teachings from the New Testament, Ernest Holmes expands upon this Bible verse, James 5:16, with a section called The Confessions of Mistakes. So I'm just going to put that up on the screen also. Can you see that? Okay. So this is what Ernest Holmes writes in the Science of Mind text, The Confession of Mistakes. The Bible tells us that God will blot out these mistakes and remember them no more against us forever. This is complete removal and erasure of all mistakes. How could it be different? God is a purse eye and perfect mind. God is perfect spirit. When we enter the spirit and bear our souls to its great light, we lose our troubles and are healed. The confession of sins or mistakes helped us to let go of troubles and to feel the universal whole, and to feel the universe holds nothing against us. The universe holds nothing against us. The mistakes are blotted out forever, right? So I say to you, if God holds nothing against us, if the universe holds nothing against us, why are you holding things against yourself? Let it go. Let it go. Let go of beating yourself up. Let go of all the mistakes that you made in the past. Let go of the mistakes you're going to make in the future. Let it all go. Because the universe, God, the divine, the higher power, the most high, Allah, whatever it is that you want to call it, has already let it go. Because God never was holding it against us in the first place. Never. We often say that there is nothing to forgive. But in our human experience, there's a process of forgiveness that we sometimes need to go through in order to create the space for that which we want to let in. Yes? So Ernest talks about a scientific matter in letting go. Did y'all know there was a scientific matter? A scientific way to let go? It's right in the Science of Mind text. So I want to share this with you. One, it is scientific to confess your sins. And we know in our teachings that sins are just an error in thinking, right? A misstep, a mistake. So we confess by letting go and we let in the lesson. We let go of the mistake and we let in the lesson. It's scientific to forgive ourselves. Unforgiveness blocks the givingness of good. The givingness of good that is awaiting our acceptance. Holding unforgiveness against yourself or others blocks the good from coming in. Let it go. It is scientific to consciously let go all of our troubles. This is what Eileen's song was talking about. Let go of all your troubles, past, present, and the negative future fantasies that we do, right? Things haven't even happened yet, but we already in the realm of the negativity about the future. And I call that negative future fantasies. Let them go. Let it go. Let in the now. If you are any place other than here right now, then you are someplace else that you need to let go of. So let's let in the now. Affirm right here and right now, in this moment, all is well. And we could take a breath on that. All is well. And then the fourth scientific way to let go. It is scientific to let go and trust in the law of good. Ernest Holmes said, it is impossible for a sane person to believe that God delights in condemning and damning anyone. God is natural good. God is natural goodness and eternal loving kindness and holds nothing against anyone. So if you think, and I didn't say this, this is what Ernest Holmes said. If you think God is delighting in condemning and damning you, Ernest said that you are insane. That's what Ernest said. I didn't say that. Because he said a sane person would not believe that. So we got to get our mind right. We got to get our mind right. So when you are willing to let go, you create space for the letting in to give rise within you. You're creating space for the good to give rise within you. So last week, everyone shared what they wanted to let go of. I put that slide up for you already. And so today I want to invite you to share what it is that you are willing to let in. What are you willing to give rise to in your life? So I'm just going to give you a moment to feel into that. Not so much thinking, feel into that from your heart space. What am I willing to let in? And if you like, you can drop that in the chat and I'll put up the question. What are you willing to let in? And I'm just going to stop the share so I could see some of the comments. Eileen is willing to let in peace. Jan is willing to let in inner peace. Oh, we got peace going here. Michelle is willing to let in a real feeling of peace. Peace and ease. What are you willing to let in? If the universe was asking you this question right now, because it's taking your order, the universe is taking your order right now. What are you willing to give rise to in your life? Rev Deb said, letting in more joy, love, support, and peace. Yes. What are you willing to let in? Because we already let go last Sunday, remember? We let it go last Sunday. So this Sunday, we get to let it in. We get to let it in. Susan said, letting in trust. Yes. Letting in trust. So you all can continue to put it in the comments if something comes forth for you, because it's homework time, y'all. It is time for some homework. Y'all know how I do. I said that this is about practice, right? We are practicing letting go, practicing letting in. So practice unleavening, right? Practice letting go by releasing. Yes, the Israelites released the chametz, right? They released it. Anything that would cause the bread to rise, they released it. So we already wrote down what we are willing to let go of last week. So you're already a step ahead, right? Let go of all that is not true. Let that go too. Let go of the doubt, the distrust, the worry, the fear. Let go of, this is a good one for people. Let go of the need to please. Let that go. Let that go. Let go of, this was a good one for me, the need to be right. Right? Y'all know that saying, do you want to be right or you want to be happy? For a long time, I wanted to be right. Because being right, I thought made me happy. So let go of the need to be right. Let go of unhealthy boundaries. Let that go. Let go of unhealthy habits. Let that go. Let it go into the silence of the presence that's beyond our thoughts and beyond our thinking. Just release it into the silence. You don't have to share it with everybody. You don't have to post on Facebook what you let go. You don't have to tell your mom or your daddy, your sister or your brother. Just let it go into the silence. No longer give rise to whatever you have let go. And I will tell you, when I work with people doing spiritual coaching, and they release things, but then they share it with people, right? Because you're excited. And what happens is those people that you shared it with will remind you of it, right? So it'll keep coming back. So we let it go and we keep it gone by reminding ourselves when it pops up, oh yeah, I remember, I let that go. I let that go. I let go of people pleasing. That's right. Let me go back and say no. Let me choose myself first. So we are practicing letting go, at least for the rest of this month. And then we're practicing letting in, right? The practice of leavening, the practice of rising. Yes? So we're going to write down what we are willing to give rise to in our lives. And some of you have done that. So write it down somewhere, like in your journal, somewhere that's present for you. Oh, by the way, the things that you let go of, release it, rip it up. Don't have it like hanging around as a reminder. You don't need to be reminded of what you let go of. Release it. Write down what you are willing to give rise to in your life and keep that present. Meditate on what you are permitting to let in. Keep your mind and your body open to the reception of the truth. You may have the experience of getting downloads, of things just flooding into you, of your intuition heightening. Because now there's space for all of that because you've let it go. You let go of all the blockages and obstructions and distractions. Yes? And we hold steadfast to the thought that all of life is in a state of eternal flow through you and as you. And what does that mean? That God can only do for you what God can do through you. So allow that flow to flow. Let it in. And then lastly, take action. Walk the talk. It's not enough to just talk about, I'm letting in this in my life. We have to take action. Take a baby step that is in alignment with the truth of the ever-expanding good that is giving rise as you. Let go and let God do its mighty works through you. So I just want to emphasize this last step in letting in, the taking action. Brené Brown said this: creativity is the engine that drives integration. It helps us transform knowledge into practice. Basically, we move what we've learned. We move what we're learning from our heads to our hearts through our hands. We move from our heads, our thinking, to our hearts, our feeling, through our hands, our action. Are you willing to let it in through your thinking, through your feeling, and through your actions? Are you willing to let it in? Are you willing to let it go so that you can let in? And I see a couple more came through, so I just want to speak those into the room. Sue Wicks said intimacy. Onay, knowingness that the universe is working for my highest good. Yes, let's let that in. Susan's letting go of control. Yes. Letting go of the idea that if I don't handle everything, it won't work out, which is control. Yes, Susan. And Rabbi Susan said, after we collect the Hamas in our homes before Passover, we burn it. Let it go. I mean, revmelissa. Yes, we burn it. We burn it. Right? Poof. Gone forever. Gone forever. So I want to end this today with a prayer poem, and some of you might be familiar with it. It's by Reverend Sapphire Rose, and it's one of my favorite prayer poems. It's called She Let Go. She Let Go. So in the beginning of this poem, I just want you to bring into mind what you let go. And then about halfway through the poem, I want you to bring into mind what it is that you're letting in. So I invite you just to go within. You can close your eyes and just settle in with your breath. And let's just take a deep breath together. She let go. She let go without a thought or a word. She let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of the right reasons. Wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry, she just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of all the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was. And it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face. Let's all smile. Yes. A light breeze blew through her hair. Let's take a breath. And the sun and the moon shone forever. And just repeat after me. I let go. I let in God. I let go. I let in God. One more time. I let go. I let in God. And so it is. Amen.